A year ago, the national price for a gallon of milk was $3.49. Now it's around $4.20, depending on where you live, a 20% increase. These higher costs across the board are part of why all Americans are feeling the pinch.
Even though Social Security benefits received a record 5.9% cost of living increase in 2022, well, those increases, they've been outpaced by inflation. Now, this means that the average retirement benefit is short $162.60. However, if it stays high, well, that could lead to a record cost of living adjustment for 2023. I'm going to fill you in on the details right after this break. Welcome back to Over 50 TV. My name is Lou Reyes. Well, before the break, I promised to share the details about a possible record-setting Social Security cost of living increase. But before we jump into it, what I want to do is let you know that if you are looking for a job, maybe something to supplement your income, or if you just want a new career, well, in the description box of this video, you'll find a link to my free cover letter, Hiring Managers Can't Resist. Now, this fill-in-the-blank cover letter, I created it to help you to get past those applicant tracking systems, the things that they call robots. Those robots scan through your resume before they pass them onto the hiring desk. Now, also in the description box, there's a link to a free career aptitude test. And that test is courtesy of Career Fitter. Now, if you follow my channel, you follow me, you know I'm an advocate for career aptitude tests, and I advocate for them because I know that they can help steer you to a job that better fits your experience, your skills, and your personality. So now, let's talk about this possible record-setting Social Security cost of living increase. And as I mentioned in the opening, even though Social Security benefits, even though they increased by a record 5.9% in 2022, well, those increases, they've been outpaced by inflation. And currently, the average retirement benefit, it has a shortfall of $162.60. And this is according to the Senior Citizens League. However, if inflation, if it does stay high, well, that could lead to another record-setting cost of living adjustment for 2023. Now, based on March data, the Senior Citizens League, well, they estimate the cost of living adjustment, or COLA, they estimated to be increased by 8.9% for 2023. And that's up from their earlier estimate of 7.6%. So now, let's talk about this possible record-setting Social Security cost of living increase. Any rate increase will be based on Consumer Price Index data, which is essentially a measure of the average change over time in the prices paid by urban consumers for what they call a market basket of consumer goods and services. Now, the Social Security Administration, what they typically do is they take the average of that data for the third quarter of the current year, and they compare that data to the average of the third quarter for the previous year. And they do that in order to determine whether or not there will be a cost of living or what they call a COLA increase. Those prices, well, they would factor into the official cost of living calculation for next year. So a cost of living increase of 8.9% or somewhere in that neighborhood, well, it depends. It really depends on whether the inflation rate, whether it moderates or whether it continues at its record high rate. Some experts, however, well, they believe peak inflation could come down before then.
We're also seeing inflation starting to come down. You're seeing some effect on the housing market. Mortgage rates are very high. Amazon cutting workers, Walmart. When you start to have these actions and Target seeing less consumption, that means that the Fed is doing its job and inflation may be starting to come down sooner than expected.
If inflation does moderate, well, the estimate for the 2023 Social Security COLA, well, no doubt it'll be reduced. Now, I'm going to follow this story and I'll keep you up to date. So if you want the latest information, subscribe to Over 50 TV. Well, that's all I have for you today, folks. If you do have any questions, please submit them in the comment box, or you can always send me an email. Now, I do want to remind you that in the description box of this video, you'll find a link to my free cover letter, Hiring Managers Can't Resist, and there's also a link to a free career aptitude test. Well, as I said, that's all I've got for you today. As I always say, have a great day, everybody.